can't take everybody with you. There comes a time in our life when we have to focus on our well being to a greater degree because of past decisions. Decisions that at the time we didn't realize didn't serve our wellness. Misinformation caused us to believe it is who we are, and therefore we didn't think change was necessary, thereby creating a limitation in our own mind and in turn governed our behavior. The behavior isn't necessarily the issue, but belief is. We don't overcome we don't overcome beliefs by being hard on ourselves, but by gaining understanding whereby we know what to do to change. It's understanding that liberates because it's an indication that the information we have received is clear to us. There is no ambiguity. Indeed, we have ears to hear, and therefore know better to act accordingly. Against such, there is no violation. In fact, if anyone has a problem with you doing better as to attribute shame to growth, it is not your responsibility to convince them otherwise. It is obvious that they can only meet you from where they are at and will only be able to relate as a result of their increase in understanding. And that is something that just cannot be forced. So the first line was, there comes a time in our life when we have to focus on our well-being, right? Why is it that we would have to focus on our well-being? Well, my mind lets me know that the focus is needed because the focus isn't there. It's somewhere else, and therefore our well-being is being neglected, right? So time is allotted now because you spent a lot of time putting yourself on the back burner. Again, because of the taboo of self-love and not quite understanding what that means. And the second line is to a greater degree, right? Because of past decisions. So now, not only did you neglect your well-being, you have a time allotted for you right now to focus on your well-being to a greater degree, because we know there's certain things you've done for yourself. You didn't totally, leave yourself out to dry, right? There's things that you've done for yourself. I'm pretty sure you can name them where it brought you satisfaction in your life. But this time in particular is going to be a focus on your well-being that is to such a greater degree that you're not currently used to. And that's because of past decisions you have made that call for this, right? That call for this degree, right? Because at that time, when you was making that decision, you didn't realize that that decision wasn't working for you. It was working against you. And so it's almost like having to go back and clean up the mess we made, if you will. right? With regards to ourselves, right? It's the thing that's coming to my mind is like, since we're in that time of year where people are spending much time trying to fulfill their New Year's resolution, right? And a lot of people are going to the gym. This is the time where gym memberships go up. And a lot of people are putting their best foot forward to start off the year, working out, implementing things that they may have neglected, right? And what you'll see happen is, depending on the degree of neglect, will possibly translate into how much pressure they put on themselves at this time. There's no respect for processes, if you will, as to say, hey, there were certain decisions I made that got me to this place of, dissatisfaction. And instead of realizing that and understanding that I must peel back the layers now and get back to where I felt like either comfortable or satisfied, they want to magically snap their fingers and have the results they're looking for within, a short period of time. And not to say in some cases that can't happen when when we're determined. Excuse me, I'm about to cough. So, but I guess what I'm trying to get at here is there's a lack of disrespect for oneself when you don't acknowledge how you got to where you've gotten, right? So therefore, not acknowledging that, you tend to make decisions that don't necessarily work in your favor with regards to reversing whatever it is that you think should be null and void at this time. So you may have, because of depression, stress, who knows, even happiness. I mean, I'm happy when I eat. Certain foods make me really happy. I enjoy eating, right? And some people would say, yeah, and it shows. So, you would have to know yourself, but, you can imagine how some may have, I want to use this as an example. I'm not trying to get on nobody because I'm not perfect. And, but that's a great example when how we binge sometimes. Maybe we're going through something, especially us women. We will binge and on food, and then we see the results of that, and we didn't quite pay attention to the signs that were showing us, hey, this condition is getting extreme. Right? Not until the end. Right? And so now it's like, oh man, these decisions I've made have gotten me to this end point right now, right? This conclusion, this effect, right? And instead of just simply acknowledging that, so we don't be hard on ourselves and just say, you know what, hey, you know what I mean? I did, what I felt like I needed to do at the time. Right now, I'm done. I feel like Forrest Gump. I went for my run and I'm tired and I'm done. And I think I got everything out my system. And now I got to go back and walk. Forrest ran. It might have been awesome, but now he got to go all the way back to where he ran from, right? And that's kind of how I see it. It's like you stop and you're just like, okay, I did what I needed to get this kind of like off my chest. And now I gotta go clean up the mess I made. Like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta go back and go back to my routine, go back to my way or my habits that were actually serving me and helping me to feel satisfied and good within my body. But I don't think somebody operating in their right frame of mind, if they're being easy on themselves, is going to think that those results are going to come in a short period of time, considering it took a lot of time for you to get to where you were in certain decisions, right? Yeah. So, right. So we have to, there's a time in our life where, we have to focus on our well-being, and that to a greater degree because of past decisions we made that we didn't realize wasn't serving our wellness, right? And misinformation caused us to believe it is who we are, right? Oh, that's the big one. Oh, that's a big one right there. And now instead of identifying that thing for what it was, we want to kind of try to make this thing seem like this is our essence. Like, this is who I am. Like, I eat. I eat all the time. Like, this is what I do. This is who I'm in. This is who I always be. Listen, first of all, anything that has to do with your body isn't necessarily who you are. This is the avatar that needs physical food, right? It's not you, right? So let's get that straight. Yeah, simple enough. And so yeah, misinformation caused us to believe it was who we are, and therefore we didn't think it was necessary to change, right? So now the thought, the belief is, oh, this is me, this is who I am, I'm going to embrace who I am because this is who I am, right? So no, I don't have to change. I don't have to change shit. Like, that's the attitude. Like, I don't have to change nothing. I'm going to embrace me. I'm going to embrace this, this habit, if you will, because this is who I am. Whether you embrace the habit or you don't, I don't think that is the issue here, right? I kind of reminded of the Christ consciousness, and even when Jesus said, like, if you eat meat or if you don't eat meat, what did he say? Pretty much that it all depends on where your consciousness is. Okay, you don't want to be doing something where good and well you don't feel good about doing it. That's the bottom line, because that's what's going to hurt you the most. You working against yourself, right? Because that's going to cause the most problem within yourself, is you trying to ignore what you do not want to do, and you do it anyway, right? So it's going to be up to you to know thyself and to understand what works and what does not work for you, and to stand on that, and to let other people live the way they are satisfied in living, right? You will be in a place of contentment when you operate within the capacity given to you, so much so you won't be even looking at what other people are doing as to judge them and as to get some sort of satisfaction for checking them, right? Because you'll be too busy focused on yourself, right? And what was the next one? Yeah. And so with this false identification, we create limitations in our own mind, right? So you say, this is me, this is me, this is me. It's like you're speaking spells over yourself. And now you've created a limitation, because now you're going to feel some type of way because you've went around talking about how this is you, this is you, this is you. So when you actually want to change, not only are you fighting against yourself, you're going to be fighting against the folks that you probably express that to, because they're going to be like, yo, I thought this, you've always been an advocate for this. Why are you changing now? So it really is going to come, like I said, it's going to boil back down to who you are. How do you feel about yourself? You know, what is true to you, right? This is why I put in my disclaimer what I put in my disclaimer, because being a human, being a spiritual being, having a human experience in this avatar, I also understand how people may view me too, because I've been there, right? You know, as soon as you say something, people want to hold you up to that. And that's fine. That's good, you know? So, when you're doing business and everything like that, yeah, sure, why not? But at the end of the day, we know that there's so many variables in this life. Things are subject to change. And there's a way you can go about doing things to where you don't have to be rude or malicious. You can just let a person know, hey, I wanted that to happen too, but, unfortunately, that's not the direction we're going right now, right? And you work from there, depending on the person, depending on the situation. If you truly are about, you know what I mean? I don't even know what word to use, but I think people know what I'm talking about. Like, cause there's different levels to this thing, cause my mind is going into like what would happen like in a business deal, maybe where there weren't, any promises or contracts made. Maybe it was a word of mouth thing. And you say you were going to do this, and then the person don't follow through, and they don't do that. And then now everybody's salty because they see how this decision is going to affect certain decisions they made in their life and everything like that. So I get it, right? This is why we've come up with so many policies and laws that we have today, because everybody's trying to protect their assets and protect what's important to them, while at the same time trying to collaborate with people. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, we ain't in control of shit, right? The way I look at it, we ain't in control of nothing when you realize people have free will, right? The best you can do is be respectable and, make your requests known and talk to folks and work from there. But you can't force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do, right? So, yeah, we create limitations in our own mind when we solidify certain things about ourselves, not understanding that we were created in the image of God. Like, right? That is the I am that I am, right? Meaning what you see is what you get right now, and that might change later. You want to put me in a box, but unfortunately you can't. Excuse me, gun cough again. Yeah. That's what it seems like that's why some people hate to have certain conversations with people, is because they want to hold them to everything that they say. Everything that they say. Like, it's just like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to change. Things are going to change, right? And I'm sorry if, you had a certain idea or perspective, and now I no longer fit into that narrative. But, I got to do what's best for me, just like you have to do what's best for you, right? They tell folks all the time this when it comes to, if it's time for you to leave a job and, you don't have time to put in 2 weeks notice, right? You're like, I don't have time to do it. I have to go ahead. I have this opportunity. I have to go ahead and I got to do my thing, right? And folks will say, they'll encourage people to be like, yeah, you need to do you, because why? Because we also know how these businesses do people. We know how they do us. When they're ready to let us go, they're ready to let us go. And sometimes it's not no goddamn 2 weeks. Sometimes it's you need to get up out of here today, right? No questions asked. We know how the system is. So it seems like those who make up the rules get to alter those rules as they wish to fit whatever serves them, right? So where is this idea of that, if we just do things a certain way, life is just going to be extremely perfect between us, So the behavior, right? The behavior of limiting our own self is not necessarily the issue, right? Because this is the effect. It's the belief, which is the cause to the effect. That's the issue. And we don't overcome these beliefs by being hard on ourselves, right? You don't overcome because, first of all, being hard on yourself is a clear indication that there's a lack of understanding. Because when there's understanding there, you can articulate yourself and understand how you got to where you got, and therefore know what you need to do to get where you're going, right? So we know when there's understanding, we know what to do to change. So if you don't know what to do, then that's enough incentive to not be so rash or quick in your movement. Stand on your square. If somebody asks you a question and is looking for a reaction out of you, or for you to do something because, they're hell-bent on seeing you change something, that's not up to them to decide or dictate, right? You have to be true to yourself, and you have to let yourself know, hey, I'm not 100% sure about this. And I know everybody else is saying do this, doing that, but are they going to back you up in this situation? Depending on what it is. So if they're not, then they need to be quiet too. Or you just need to tune them out and realize, hey, they're just doing the best they can do to be supportive in the best way they know how to be supportive. And you just chuck it, into the back of your mind. Like, it is what it is. I got to do me, because later on, when you actually be true to yourself, and and you come into that place of where you receive your reward for doing so, because you will. I can promise you that. And I say this based on experience. You will. They ain't gonna have nothing to say, right? They're not gonna have nothing to say because they're gonna see the evidence of that. And even if they don't, it's there. So it don't really matter. Right? So, when we have understanding, that's what liberates us to make these changes. And it's because it's a clear indication that the information we have received is clear to us, right? So again, there's no pretending, right? Because it seems like there's pressure. If there's pressure coming from a voice maybe nobody else is able to hear, but you're hearing this, maybe it's something from your upbringing. Maybe that voice in your head that you're hearing is your mom, your dad, somebody in your family, somebody you once met, maybe even an entity, who knows. But this voice, right, is pressuring you. Like, it's applying pressure, right? But it's applying pressure because there's no understanding. The pressure is there because there's no understanding. So that's why I said you will be able to differentiate between that which serves you and that which doesn't, because that which serves you is going to give you answers. It's going to give you answers. And if it's not clear to you, baby girl, baby boy, if it's not clear to you, then it's not of God. Right? And that's not to say that if you're getting this information outside of yourself, if it's not clear to you still, that is not God using that person to give you direction. That message, of course, and I'm going to use tarot and all this other stuff as an example because this is prevalent on social media today, right? General readings are major on social media today. And a lot of people are looking for directions and answers. Let me tell you something. And the tarot readers tell you guys this. A lot of y'all don't listen, right? Including myself. I've been there, right? You will hear something and you feel pressured. It's the same thing with even religion. You will go to the church and it's the same thing. The pastor didn't get off the pulpit and come down and directly talk to you and preach to you. This is a general message. They are giving general messages. Unless it's a prophecy, like I said, somebody's coming through and it's strong and they literally have a message, direct message, special message for you. You need to take it as, hey, if this is for me, God knows me, right? God knows how my brain operates. The divine knows how my brain, whoever you call on, source, Allah, whoever, knows you're saying this being of all beings, which is greater than I am, right? Knows better than I do. And if it knows better than I do, then it knows how to contact me in order for me to understand something. So if somebody is saying something to me and I don't get it, what do you want me to do? You want me to pretend like I get it? Because I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And people need to start standing on their square, and they need to start standing on that, right? You get so caught up on labels, and I get it. I've been there. You get caught up on labels and trying to impress folks and trying to fit in and want so bad to be accepted, right? But at the end of the day, if you really know there's a God, why would this God judge you for being real? Especially when your heart is already known. Why couldn't you express exactly how you feel when that is on your heart already? It's already there. There's no hiding it. So who are you really fearing? Are you fearing God or are you fearing man? Because it sounds like a fear of man. It don't sound like a fear of God. Right? So, next. So against such, they said, there is no violation. In fact, good morning, sweetheart. In fact, if anybody has a problem with you doing better, as to attribute shame to growth, it's not your responsibility to convince them otherwise, okay? So, right, we were talking about you can't take everybody with you. That's the title I was given. Can't take everybody with you. When you're on this journey where, like I said, specifically, where you have to focus a little bit more on your well-being because that has been neglected. You know, if anybody has a problem with you doing that, yeah, like as to attribute shame to you growing, then you know you don't have to pay attention to them, right? You know you don't have to listen to them, right? You know you don't owe them an explanation, right? And neither do you have to convince them. That's the major point. That's something that Spirit has been showing me too. Like, listen, this is like, we're taking you aside. We're isolating you because there's certain things that we want to show you. This is not about everybody else, right? This is about you, right? This is about changing the things within you that you've been requesting, that you've been asking for, that your heart has been desiring. And we're here to help you, but we need you to listen, right? Stop trying to make this about, it's a habit. We get it. And this is why we're saying this. It's not your responsibility to go around trying to convince folks of what's happening for you, through you, to you. Right? Trust, you'll get the opportunity to share with those who you're supposed to share with. No doubt, because it's going to be your essence, right? It's going to be who you are. So no matter where you go, if you're interacting with somebody, they're going to get a piece of that, right? Your aura, your light, right? The vibration you carry, that can't be hidden. So you don't have to go around here convincing nobody of anything. You just need to be you. And we're trying to teach you how to be you. To be yourself unapologetically. And to know that you have the support of the divine, right? Because we're trying to let you know and peel back these layers of misinformation that has been given to you to have you calling things of God that are not things of God, right? As if God had its stamp of approval, his or her stamp of approval on this, right? Because a lot of people have come saying God said. Well, God didn't tell me that. So you go about your business and you go do what God said and told you to do, right? You know, like I said, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to. You just let people know, listen, I hear what you're, I hear your voice, but the sound I'm not familiar with. I'm not familiar with the sound. And as much as I know you're excited about what you're saying, I don't get it and I can't pretend to get it. So I wish you well. And maybe at some point in our life, we'll come back, you know, we'll meet each other again. Who knows? But at this point, whatever you're trying to dish out, you know, I'm not eating. You know, whatever you're serving, I'm not eating right now. That's just not something that was meant for me right now. Right? You know? And it depends on the conversation, right, too? Because there's things that people have told me. It wasn't a demand. They were sharing something with me. And later on, down the line, it was brought back to my remembrance and it was helpful in that moment. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are coming into your life being demanding of your time and of your energy, and then trying to put the label God on it as if to bring, so you can feel some sort of shame or guilt for saying no. No. Right? Get used to that. No. Right? No. No, thank you. Appreciate the gesture, but no, thank you. Right? Yeah. So it's obvious that those who try to bring shame to your growth, that they can only meet you from where they are at. Like we can only meet each other from where we are at. Right? So like I said, like when you start getting understanding, right? You'll start to see that others who may not get what you're understanding now, it's just a matter of time for them to go through what they need to go through to get that understanding. And that's why we say you can't take everybody with you, because everybody is on their individual journey and not everybody is meant to get it all at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. You know, I'm still learning more about this. I don't understand all of that, but I definitely can observe and see that you can see collectively that a lot of people are waking up and a lot of people are not being afraid to speak on things that they were once afraid to speak on, right? You know, so we can see what's happening. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're all on the same level. That we're like, I don't even know what to say. Like we're carbon copies of each other. That's not real. Like, you know what I mean? That's just not real. So, you know, folks can only meet you from where they're at and will only be able to relate as a result of their increase in understanding, right? And that's just not something that you can force, right? And you got people out here really frustrated because folks ain't getting what they dishing. And it's not, here's the thing. I think sometimes the problem is that folks think that because people don't agree, that it somehow devalues what they're saying. It doesn't, right? It doesn't. Not if you're speaking the truth. If you're speaking the truth, you don't need everybody's explanation. You don't need everybody's agreement. Truth stands on its own, right? But yeah, do you see if somebody's missing out on something? Yeah, absolutely. Because you're just like, man, when you know, you know. So yeah, there is a sort of I don't want to say frustration, but there's just a sort of awareness that you have that you know where somebody is about to go because of the information that you have. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess you got to just go through that experience, see for yourself. It is what it is. Experience is our best teacher. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's a frustration. It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing. You're just, okay, right? And it won't be like, I told you so. It'll be like, hey, I knew this. I mean, if you had to go through it, you had to go through it. But I wasn't going to go there with you. Sorry. That's not going to happen. That's the beauty of overcoming and leveling up, is that, no, I don't have to. Well, no, I passed that grade already. I'm not going back. You got to go through that grade. You got to do the work that you need to do to get you to the next level. I'm not going backwards. Now, if somebody gets frustrated with you because of that, right? You know where to stand, right? You be like, hey, like, I honestly love you, right? I love you enough to let you live your life, go through your experience that you need to do so you can get the growth you need, the answers you need to grow and do better, right? To know and do better, right? But this, like I said, this whole, because I've been there before. I've been in environments like that where folks is just like, it becomes violent and abusive to a point where it's just like, and this is not just organizational wise, it can be relationships, right? Family, right? Where folks is just hell bent on getting people to take sides with them, right? And if you don't see things the way they see it, it's almost like they don't know how to act. Like, they don't know how to act. Like, they don't know how to just live their life. And if it's so true for you, then just do it. Why are you bent on getting everybody on your bandwagon? Just do what you got to do and know that you're going to connect with other people that feel the same way. Why isn't that enough? Why do you have to go out here and enforce people's will to do what you wish in order to feel satisfied? In order for you to feel some type of contentment and peace? That's questionable. I have to question you on that. I have to question the information too you're dishing out, because now it seems like your information don't carry no power. Or the position that you're claiming to be in might not be that position at all, because you need us, or you need whoever it is that you're trying to coerce on your team to be on your team in order for you to not act like this, right? So we got to start letting the fruit, bear witness to the tree that people are sourcing. Who's the source? You want to know what the source is? Just look at the fruit. Look at the results. Look at the effects. What is being said? Where's the integrity? Where's the character? Where's these attributes, these virtues? Where are they? Where are they? Right? Okay. So I'm just going to end it here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you taking the time to visit my channel. If you like what I'm sharing, please subscribe and have a blissed out day. Peace.